Brian Thomas Jr. was the 23rd overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. The Jaguars selected him after losing Calvin Ridley over the offseason. When Calvin Ridley left, they brought in Gabe Davis and then drafted Brian Thomas Jr., hoping that one of the two can fill that wide receiver 1 spot. In week 1, Brian Thomas Jr. ran 18 routes, which ranked 4th on that offense. Despite all that, he was tied for the most targets on the team with 4 targets, giving him a team high 22.2% target rate in week 1 as a rookie. Let's dive into the tape and watch BTJ's NFL debut. All right, we're going to start off with something really simple here. Brian Thomas Jr. at the top of your screen, and he will be just blocking. Actually, we'll cover a little blocking rep, but you see that right there, a nice little head shake to, you know, fake a route, honestly, to get inside. And then once this guy realizes it's a run, he's obviously going to try to fight the block. But what you're seeing Brian Thomas Jr. do, it's getting an angle. That way he can remain in front no matter like where the runner is. Say the runner breaks up through here. Brian Thomas Jr. has that angle. He has this all blocked because he has that inside leverage. And so the IQ already, the effort, it's just letting me know, I mean, he's ready to go. And that is one of the best. And Jalen Ramsey right now in the league, he is one of the best, I believe. People would, you know, say unanimously, and they're already getting into it. Look at him holding up there. At the top of your screen, there's the star-studded matchup between our guy, Brian Thomas Jr. and Jalen Ramsey. Right off the snap, you're going to see a nice release. He's actually got Ramsey to bite outside for a second, and he looped back under. I don't know if y'all saw that. And now you're just going to see him gunning downfield. And this is a little bit interesting here by the safety, but we'll play this one out, show you. And there's the flags, little DPI action. So off the line, you're going to see him. He's going to stutter and then basically bite this way, but then fly out back to the other side. And it looked to actually catch Jalen Ramsey by surprise. And then when you see Trevor Lawrence, he's going to be loading up his arm real quick. And that throwing motion is starting for Trevor Lawrence. And he thinks, the safety thinks that Lawrence is going to Kirk. So the safety then crashes down. And then Brian Thomas Jr. gets up the field very easily, unscathed, untouched, and has Jalen Ramsey beat. Tries to adjust and turn back to the ball. You'll see it here on this angle. Brian Thomas Jr. simply beats the defense. And then once this ball's coming up, he's going to try to like shade back inside down towards the actual ball and where it's going to end up landing. Jalen Ramsey straight up arms around Brian Thomas's chest and, you know, just upper body area, and that you just cannot do. And that'll be a DPI, and the chatter starts again. They're getting a little mad at each other. Here's our guy, Brian Thomas Jr. line up against the veteran Jordan Fuller on the outside. And you're going to see a little bit chippiness, some feistiness at the bottom of your screen. So he's going to get back into his chest. He's going to try to push him back, trying to drive him out of the end zone. I mean, he's not even close to being in the play. Some good effort. Like I said, a little bit feisty and just trying to put him on the ground, I guess. Brian Thomas Jr. top of your screen right there, and you're going to watch him just run a shallow route. But what is so interesting about this rep is everybody's getting depth out of the middle of the field. Everybody. So he's actually going to be running a shallow cross, and it's going to be wide open. I hate to spoil it before I even play it through, but look at how open this is. Everybody, like I said, just getting depth. Everybody's so far back and down. He has so much area, space, everything you want to use there. Any word basically works because of how much space it is. And so he's just going to go for a few yards on that. Trevor Lawrence snaps the ball, everyone just getting deep, following the routes, and Brian Thomas Jr. catches underneath and gets a couple yards. Brian Thomas Jr. bottom of the screen, and we'll go over a couple things. With eyes on the quarterback, that normally means that it is zone coverage, so it is not like man-to-man. There's no correlation. So Brian Thomas is just going to try to get from point A to point B as soon as he can on this play. That's basically the context I'll leave you guys with. So with these guys playing zone, you see those hips going back. He's a little bit neutralized. So he's just going to try to get to point, like I said, from point A to point B as soon as he can. So he doesn't care about like cutting the route or the route break. He's just worried about rounding it and getting here as fast as he can. Gets to the outside and ball's in the air, makes that catch, and then look at that little pivot, getting a few extra yards. So ball's in the air, this guy's obviously closing down, this guy's same thing, just from the side, and so he'll just make this catch and you'll see him have an opportunity to break up for a few extra. Trevor Lawrence pats the ball, lets it out, and right there you'll see him. I mean, he's attacking in and he's attacking from out. That is an alleyway. Like, that is a way to go, and Brian Thomas has eyes in that area. He's looking like directly down, and so what you're going to see happen is he just pivots, gets upfield. I mean, it's really explosive, and we'll watch it all in one motion here as he just pivots, gets a few extra, and I don't know if he quite made that first down, but it's probably close. Probably the most well-known play from the Jacksonville offense. This is Brian Thomas right here, lined up in the slot. Trevor Lawrence will snap the ball, and when you're watching Brian Thomas here, there's nothing like, I'm not going to say special, because he does cross up, and you'll basically just see him run a fluid route. He's not making any breaks, separation, anything like really cool or pizzazz, if you will, and just catches it over top. It's such a great throw. You know what I mean? Like, it's not special by him, but it's still really good. And especially with 11 dropping back, you saw him, he kind of just dragged from here. And then so Brian Thomas, who is here, kind of just cuts under him and then goes back to the back of the end zone to finish out his route. So it's good by him. I'm not saying it's like a special route or the connection. It's just honestly a great throw. Back, you got a little toe tap in there. Trevor Lawrence evaluating his options, sees it and lays it up for him. It is really pretty. Brian Thomas Jr. top of the screen here, very next play on the very next drive from the play that we just watched. And so right off the snap, we're going to show something real quick here, and I'm going to say Jordan Fuller's up here, Brian Thomas is down here. That's some space between the two right there. That's quite a bit, and he's got to eat all of this cushion. He's going to try to sprint through it, which I honestly don't mind. I like that he's trying to get to him as soon as he can, literally just closing the space. That is his job here, and that's what he's doing. Kader Kohu sitting here in the slot. I think his job is to just like fly down, I think, but we're not here for Kader Kohu. We're watching Brian Thomas, who gets all up here, spaces him out, and then says, hey, I'm going this way, then decides to just loop back inside, find the space. It is very pretty, and we'll watch it here as he's just influencing. I mean, Jordan Fuller is just so far off base here. Look at where this dude is right now, and his leverage pointing up in this direction. He is lost, and then Brian Thomas Jr. will just flow back across face and find that open space, and he's down on the 40. We'll watch that again in full motion. Just Brian Thomas Jr. top, bop, and turn, and he has space underneath. Great throw by Trevor to get it there in time. Trevor Lawrence off a little bit of play action, got him and puts it in front. It's just really nice. And we'll kind of see the same thing again here at the bottom of your screen. Jordan Fuller, Brian Thomas, they'll both get depth right away. They're both just going to be running upfield, but watch when Brian Thomas closes this in. So he's sprinting head down, he's trying to influence, hey, I'm going vertical all day. Brian Thomas Jr. trying to get him to think that, and so when he closes this space, I mean, and it's already good right away because Jordan Fuller has upfield leverage right now, but something to keep an eye on. Brian Thomas Jr., when he closes that in, you'll see that false step outside, and then he'll be able to cross up on a little bit of a post, and it's great. I mean, look at this leverage here by Jordan Fuller, again upfield when probably shouldn't be, and then crosses underneath below him. It's just great. So off the snap, Brian once again just trying to chew up this cushion to make the guy miss at the break of the route, right? So he's going to make this work at the top of the route. He's going to give him a little jab, false step outside, and I don't think this is like a good throw to make for Trevor Lawrence. It's like desperation if this was like third and something, because you have guys kind of just roaming in secondary. This guy, I mean, pretty much out of the equation, not really in the play. So out of desperation, sure, you can target Brian Thomas. I'm not going to blame him for not hitting this. You have guys getting depth. You have your eyes and everything already locked up and loaded this way by the time this even looks like it's getting open. Like, it's just not something I'd be putting on Trevor Lawrence, I guess putting it as his fault, under that category, if you will. Bottom of the screen, Brian Thomas, Jordan Fuller. What's been working on him all day? It's been the false steps inside out. It's been the way that he's been able to turn Jordan Fuller's hips. So right off the start, you're going to see him do a little outside release, and that's going to get Jordan Fuller to put one foot outside, and that's going to give him leeway through the inside. And so you'll see that work. Brian Thomas Jr. upfield leverage, and what's been working on Jordan Fuller, it's been misdirection stuff. So he's going to try to go outside and then plant back and come back inside. I can't remember if he's running a dig or a post or whatever, but you'll see him, and he just does this. And then the second he's starting, to turn back this way, Jordan Fuller understands. He's seen this plenty of times today, so he's going to have the angle to undercut it. And so it is just kind of old tricks from Brian Thomas Jr. trying the same thing, and he is essentially blanketed, no separation. So when you watch this rep over again, you'll kind of see it here in full. When Brian Thomas fakes outside, Fuller's not buying it for a second. And when he's right here and he's gonna like pretend to shoot this way, Jordan Fuller barely even needs to care, and he can play with that leverage because he has a safety help either inside, or if he wants to go vertical right here, cool, there's a safety right there. So Jordan Fuller aware of what's happening in the secondary, and so he knows if he even sees this like try to go back inside, he's got it, and he can turn and just cover that passing lane if there was one to be there, I guess. So it is like essentially blanketed, good coverage, and nothing new from Brian Thomas Jr. Overall, I think he needs to work on variety. He's trying some of the same things often, but if he can add and tie more things together, we can see a true receiver one emerge in Jacksonville. Anyways, that'll be it for me. Thank you for watching. If you guys enjoyed, go ahead and like it, subscribe, watch the past content on the channel. It would mean a lot, and I'll see you guys next time. Deuces.